before we start, Stefan, you said you had something you wanted to discuss.
I have Maddie Clark here, who is my neighbor, who's on the line, and she in college, so she's going to Holy Cross, correct me if I'm wrong, Maddie, and she has an interest in public health. So I thought it would be great for her to come to the meeting, just see how, how things work at the Board of Public Health, and also meet Melissa and others. So Maddie, if you would like to say hi, feel free.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I just have like an interview coming up next week about kind of like local government and stuff. So I wanted to kind of learn a little bit more about how like government works in like the local community. And I'm really interested in like public health. I'm thinking of majoring that in college in a couple of years. So I thought I'd sit in on the meeting and kind of learn a little bit more. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, welcome.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, well, good to have you. I know it's we're gonna have a few different topics for you to see tonight. Hopefully nothing too crazy, but we'll go through the agenda. Typically, before we start, quick little COVID update. I don't know if you want to give us a little update in the town and how we stand.
Sure. So as you probably all saw in the positivity rate, my report, we definitely are up. That being said, we're nowhere near where we were in the beginning of the year. It's obviously closely being monitored. It's definitely happening across the board. So it's not specific to Walpole. And we hope that the rates don't continue to go up. Like we mentioned before, Trisha's continuing her COVID clinic. So she's doing the boosters. And then for those that potentially meet the age requirement to get the vaccine, she does have the Pfizer for the younger ones, and then the Moderna for those 18 and older. So we'll continue those clinics. They're actually getting more popular now, I feel, because people are allowed to get that second booster. So she has about 20 or 25 or so people each time she runs a clinic. So I would say about 50 a week, give or take. So it's definitely a good thing. We do open it up to other communities as well as individuals in Walpole. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback of the location and just the flow and the ease of getting into the clinic and not having to wait in long lines, and it being kind of a personal experience, personalized experience. So we're grateful for Trish to continue those.
I just want to remark that I went for my booster, my second booster, and it was so exciting to get into the town hall because it's part of my growing up years. My mother was in politics, from school committee to select woman, and so of course I would tag along to lots of things in the town hall, and it was so much fun to be able to actually be in there. And hopefully someday I'll get to go upstairs to the ballroom, which is up there. So that day will come. But her office is beautiful. It's really it's not redesigned, it's just refurbished, and it's very nice. Everybody go in, just really check it out.
So good to hear that it's continuing and people are taking advantage of it. That's really great to hear. Awesome. Well, thank you, Melissa. I know that's the CDC. I know the community guide that they're rolling out now. I know our Norfolk is in the yellow territory and pretty close to the red line that we start changing some of our approaches. We're doing the same thing at work. We're in Middlesex, but we're on the line to get into the red zone, which is not a good place to be back in. But I imagine it's the school vacations are probably contributing to a lot of this from the last couple of weeks. All right, next on our agenda is actually the approval of minutes from April 12th. We had those. If there were any comments.
I have one. The first line, the time, 7:30 should be. Right, it says 7:03 p.m.
Correct. We'll make that change.
That's the only one I have, Melissa. Good job.
Good catch.
I have a question. Rebecca Reed from the Home for Little Wanderers was present, but there's no mention of that she was there. I mean, her name is there that she was present, but did she talk? I mean, did you ask her questions? What happened?
She did. So we can add in a little memo like we've done in the past to just say that she was present. It was business per usual. There was no negative feedback or anything from the police or the town health department. So we can definitely add that in.
Will she come back again?
So it was determined by the board that at this time, they don't feel the need for her to come back. But if anything changes or if the board feels the need for her to come back, that she would definitely be willing to do so.
Good, that's good to hear.
So that should have definitely been mentioned in the minutes, Melissa, because Carol is right. So we needed to document the feedback.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Anybody want to make a motion regarding the minutes?
I'll make a motion in regards to the minutes from the, I'm getting lost here, from the April 12th, 2022 meeting. The Board of Health approves the minute as amended.
I'll second that.
Very good. Motion's been made and seconded. Any other comments? And we will vote. Now, who was absent? So Carol was not there last time, so it's all right. So we'll figure it out. Stefan,
Aye.
Mona,
Aye.
I also, and Carol, you will, does she abstain?
Okay,
Correct.
Is that
but
right?
I can still talk. Abstain or not.
We'll try to stop you from talking, right?
That's right.
Great. Okay, so the minutes were passed.
So who seconded those minutes?
I did. Can
Carol.
is it all right if I second?
So I would say no if you weren't there to approve the minutes. So
Oh,
maybe someone
shoot.
else seconded.
Okay,
I can second it.
Yep, Stefan got seconds. There we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda, planning board request for comments. Looks like there's both two from the planning board. There's also one from the zoning board. Anybody here for either one of those, the High Plain Street or the Warwick Road?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Any objection to looking at both the High Plain at the same time? I mean, it's the same thing, I imagine.
Correct.
We'll look at the High Plain Holdings as the planning board. From what it looks like, say that the revised site plan indicated that the gated dumpster enclosure includes both trash and recycling. I think that was the only comment we had last time.
Correct.
I just had a question. What date did we review this plan? Because it doesn't say it, right? It says that we went over this plan, but it doesn't mention the date.
So let me just pull it up. We reviewed this plan at our February 1st meeting, the site plan approval.
Oh, yeah, I think it mentions it in the other one, in the
Sure.
by special permit, but it doesn't mention it in this one. Okay, just wanted to make,
February 1st meeting. Yep.
okay.
Okay.
I was a little confused as I looked at it. You know, I grew up in Walpole and my best friend just lived down the street from that place. And so I really couldn't visually locate it was. Now there's that apartment on the corner, which was formerly owned by a neighbor of mine, actually. But he doesn't anymore. And then there's a house, which I forget whether it's brick, but it's like a one family house. And then there's another house next to it, which was next to a farm, I think was a water tank. And so which
Right.
house is it that they're eliminating? The
So it's next to
ranch
the,
style?
it's next to the apartment building.
And so so that other house remains, the one next to the former water tank.
Correct. Let me just see. I'm going to see if I can try to pull it up for you while we're on the call. I know last meeting we had the plans pulled up.
I just wanted to be able to visualize where it is located, that's all.
Okay, so wait one second. I'm just going to share my screen.
Little graphic on page 10, I think.
So can you see this, everyone?
Yeah,
So
I
see-
can.
Carol, so this right here, if you see my cursor, this is the apartment building, and then this is that first parcel that you referenced that had the home on it.
Okay.
Where's the water tank?
And why is it that they reduced a 2-bedroom apartment to a 1-bedroom? I didn't understand that. Why would they have to do that?
I don't know the reasoning behind it, but I think that was one of the requirements. I mean, I could see it potentially, maybe, I don't know if this is the case, but it probably would have less children there to impact the school system, but I can't say that for sure.
Well, that's a good thing. We don't need
Yeah,
to
I
have
think that would be,
more kids in our schools.
but I could be completely wrong with that. But I know it wasn't a requirement of ours, so it was a
Okay.
requirement of the planning board, or a recommendation, I would assume.
Must be an opportunity to sell better. And price it better, maybe. I don't know.
Is this it says commercial tenants are unknown. Is this similar to like what we've seen in like previous type of buildings where they're putting like
Correct.
the
So
business?
this is one that we have seen in the past, and the idea of the commercial tenant isn't to have like a restaurant or a business along those lines. It would be more possibly like an office setting, like an engineer, potentially, something like that. That would not require any issues with, food odors or anything like that, or parking issues.
So no like garage bays or anything like that for like,
Correct, correct.
auto
More,
repair.
more like an office setting, I would see it as.
okay, good.
Any other questions or comments? Looks like they are addressed. The lighting and the dumpster is what we had questioned about last time. Anybody have any other concerns or questions? We entertain a motion for the planning board.
I'll make
Make
a
a motion.
motion. Okay, go ahead, Carol.
Thanks. Regarding the revised plan at 173 High Plain Street, the Board of Health has no concerns.
Motion been made. Do we hear a second?
I'll second that. I don't know if we want to add that the Board of Health is pleased to notice that the revised plan includes a recycling container, like we recommended, in the gated dumpster.
I don't know that that's really necessary, but it's, I guess it's also good to have it because that's so important. That is important.
We can add in there that we thank them for addressing those two concerns.
Good idea.
Perfect. Motion been made and seconded and amended. Any other discussions? We will take a vote. Carol,
Aye.
Stefan?
Aye.
Mona?
Aye.
I also, so 400. While we're on High Plain, there's the Board of Appeals. And looks like they're mentioning that changes that were made do not pertain to Health Department.
That is correct. And I know the board, the last time they saw this was the February 1st meeting, and the board voted that there was no comments at that time. And there's been no changes to the document that would strike up any comments.
Okay. Any questions for everybody? I'll make a motion regarding the Board of Appeals requesting comments or special permit for 173 High Plain Street. The Board of Health has no specific questions at this time.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other comments, questions? We will take a vote. Carol,
Aye.
Stephanie,
Aye.
Mona,
Aye.
I also 400. Motion continues. Next on our list is, so we've attacked those two. Let's do the Warwick Road extension. This is a preliminary subdivision plan. This we have not seen, have we?
Correct. This is new to the board. So it is a preliminary subdivision plan. So we would need to make a motion approving or denying the plan. This is a proposal to allow the extension of Warwick Road, which is approximately 125 feet, and the construction of 2 single-family house lots. And it's on a property that is 7.2 acres. There are 2 existing dwellings that have frontage along Summer Street. So the proposed project with the 2 homes will utilize town water and sewer. The plan does show existing sidewalks on Warwick Road, but as a normal health department stance, we would recommend extending the sidewalks to continue with the extension of Warwick Road, and also to assure that adequate lighting is installed on the plan.
So, okay, so the extension, the length of the road is going to be 125 feet, right?
Correct.
How about the width of the road? Did they mention anything?
The width would be a standard width. Typically it's 26 feet, but that would be a standard width, yes.
It
But
continues.
obviously you could have the stance where the board always says that the roadway would have, it's an extension, so it's an existing road, so I'm sure it conforms, but making sure that obviously it's adequate for emergency vehicles, but also trash and recycling trucks as well. It is a public road, so they would be under the public collection for solid waste and recycling.
This would be part, said extension would be still considered a public road.
That would be my assumption. The board can question that, but my assumption would be with it being already an existing road, they're extending a public way.
Gotcha. Okay. Anybody have any comments or willing to make a motion?
I'll make a motion in regards to the Warwick Road extension, the preliminary subdivision plan. The Board of Health has no significant concern at the present time, except that we'd like to recommend that the existing sidewalk is continued with the extension of Warwick Road and that adequate lighting is provided on the street. We'd also like to see on the plan where they're marking the trash and recycling bins. Is this?
No, this isn't, these are individual houses. So you don't have to decide where they're going to put their bins.
But we don't have to be concerned about this right now.
No. It's not commercial.
Just understanding that they will be responsible for trash recycling and that's town water and sewer. Okay.
And I think just making the language say that the board approves the plan. However, we would require these conditions, just because we do need to have either the approve or denial with the preliminary subdivision.
Okay. So the Board of Health does approve the plan with the recommendations of extending the existing sidewalk and that adequate lighting is provided on the street.
Very good. Any other comments?
Was it second? Did anybody second it?
We have not seconded.
I will, please. I'll second.
Now it's been seconded. Do we have any other discussions on it? We'll vote. Carol,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
Mona,
Aye.
and I myself 4-0-0. That one so that's the planning board. Now the zoning board's good. And then Conservation Commission, notice of intent, 5 Cardinal.
So this is a new plan that we've never seen before. They're requesting a notice of intent for the above property. The applicant's looking to construct a stone or paver patio, 2-tiered concrete block retaining wall, and installed new landscaping in the rear area of the yard. No work is proposed within the 25-foot no disturb zone within the wetlands. Existing stone patio walls and stairs will be removed. The rear yard grade will be raised to the existing patio elevation utilizing clean fill. The new grade will slope to the upper retaining wall, and the area between the patio and the upper retaining wall will be seeded with turf grass. They do include, which they're required to for the Conservation Commission, to say that erosion and sediment controls will be installed prior to the start of construction activities and will remain in place during the construction process and until everything is revegetated. And they're saying that all excavated materials not scheduled for reuse will be removed from the site. So I did include the plan in your packet. So if you see this green area, let me just share my screen quickly. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes,
Perfect. So this green line is the buffer zone. The orange line is a 25-foot, sorry, buffer zone. And then the blue is the 50-foot buffer zone. So what it is if you see in here, this is where the home is, and this is where the large patio is, the lawn area. So it is not within the 25-foot buffer zone. However, it is within the total buffer zone. So it's something that the board obviously does not encourage work within the buffer zone. However, it is an existing property. And it seems as though they're taking the precautionary or necessary measures to actually do work within this buffer zone. That being said, I think it's a stance that the board always says regarding mosquito mitigation. Obviously, they are in close proximity to the wetlands. They're building this lovely patio and lawn-in area, so they want to be outside and utilize it. So I think best practices, mosquito mitigation, making sure there's no ponding water, making sure that they even consult with Norfolk County, have the area sprayed. The typical stance that the board has would be recommended.
Good.
the patio is bigger than the house. It looks like it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I can make a motion. In regards to notice of intent for 5 Cardinal Lane, the board has no additional comments or concerns, but would like to recommend all the standard language, Melissa, for mosquito control.
Perfect, perfect.
Should we add that Board of Health has a longstanding, in regards to the new, but it's not a new construction anyway, it's a pre-existing patio, right?
It is, but I think it's good to add that in so then, people are even aware that there is Norfolk County mosquito and that they can, enlist their resource. So I think that that's helpful.
Good.
We'll add that and I'll second that.
Perfect. Motion has been made, second and amended and seconded. Any other comments? We will vote. Carol?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Mona?
Aye.
I also 4-0-0. The last one on our agenda is the request for determination for 18 Deborah Drive.
So this is for a request for determination. They're trying to repair the current on-site septic system. So they have a system, it needs to be repaired. They are limited. I'm just going to share my screen with their property. There are a lot of wetlands in the area. So it's going to be a little bit of a heavy lift to get the system in place. But obviously, I'm just going to zoom in. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is the existing home. Then you have this green, which is the wetlands. You have the yellow, which is the 25-foot do not disturb. And then you have the orange, which is the 50-foot buffer. And then the blue outside of the system, which is the 100-foot buffer. So if you see, they do have isolated like a wetlands area in the front of their property. They have it in the rear of the property. So it's very difficult to avoid having the system be outside of the buffer zone. And the main concern is you want an operating system that's not going to leach into the wetlands. So this is the best case scenario. They are not able, topography does not allow them to have a gravity system. So they will have a septic tank, they will have a pump chamber, and it actually will pump way up to the rear of the home to get out of the wetlands area. And then you'll see the soil absorption system in the rear of the property, just shy of the 100-foot buffer zone. So this is a John Glossa plan. It has been reviewed by the health department. There was a discrepancy on the number of bedrooms, so a revision has been submitted to the health department. It has not yet been approved. I don't see any concerns with this plan, but ultimately, once the plan's approved and once they get through conservation, then they can start construction. There'll obviously be parameters needed to be in place to actually install this system. I know one of the installers proposed for this property, it's difficult to get in there, obviously, so they'll have to have certain strategies to get in, but ultimately having a well operating system versus a failed system is the main mission for the health department.
Wow, that's going to be quite a magic trick.
I'm surprised John is not around to explain it.
I know, it is surprising, actually.
Yeah.
We'll have to put an X next to his name.
So we don't know how many bedrooms the house.
So yes, so it's a 4-bedroom home. It is a
Oh, it-
4-bedroom home. So it will be designed for a 4-bedroom home.
Okay.
All right. Well, and knowing it's a failed system, and they're doing the best they can to try to put that
Yeah.
in a good location, so. Even though John's not here, we say let's decline it and then make him come.
Make him come back.
Any comments, or actually, what do you want to put a motion together for this one?
I'll make a motion regarding a request for determination at 18 Deborah Drive, having a failed septic system. The Board of Health has no concerns at this time and are pleased that John Glosser has designed it.
Probably biased.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? Then we will take a vote. Carol,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
and Mona.
Aye.
I also 4-0-0. I hope that one is able to pass through. Guess knowing that you guys still have to approve it officially, I guess our motion has no objection. It doesn't hold the weight as you guys haven't actually formally passed it, right?
Correct, yes. Which they wouldn't be able to start the installation until they receive their construction permit through our department.
Good. Right, and then a couple of correspondence. We have planning board decision cases.
So, yep, so these are both for the same property, Dryex, which we've seen before, the Providence Highway 22220 Boston Providence Highway. So they both were approved. They did take in consideration the special permit from what the Board of Health had said at their previous meeting regarding the chemical storage and making sure that proper storage was conducted on site, and if they had to file with the health department. I did get correspondence from Mackey Law, who's representing the applicant, and they did let us know that there would be no high volumes of hazardous material on site aside from just household quantities. They'd be doing no work on the vehicles on site. They would be taking it all off site. So it's really just to store their vehicles, and then they would do the work off site. And then if anything like an oil change, even though they have those bays, they would not be the ones doing the work. They would be taking it off site to have it done. So no vehicle equipment or anything like repair type shop would be conducted on site.
Great. All right, was there anything else that we need to discuss or want to discuss?
So quickly, just while I have a captive audience, I know probably some of you received the flyer from Boston Karting. Did anyone get that? Oh, were you gonna bring it up, Rich? Okay, so for those that haven't received it, I will share my screen so you have it. So our office has had many phone calls regarding it. So we have tried to put some outreach out for it to try to streamline it. Sorry, I just want to find it quickly. And ultimately, I figured it'd be good to, let me just see really quickly here. Okay, so let me just share my screen and see if I can. It's not letting me. Just get rid of it. Okay, here we are. So the flyer that has caused many questions. So there is no change to our solid waste contract. We have a contract with Boston Karting. You're probably familiar with the name Russell Disposal. So Russell Disposal was our longtime contractor. In 2019, which the board's probably well aware of, Kevin Douglas, who was the owner of Russell Disposal, sold his company and sold it to Boston Karting. So Boston Karting has been with us since the very late month of 2019. So going on almost 2.5 years now. So there's no change to the collection. That being said, they purchased new vehicles that have the capability to pick up the toters. So if you're familiar, in years past, we've always discouraged residents from using toters because it was an individual on the truck picking up the barrel, dumping it in. So it was our instruction to say, you can have those, but you have to be mindful that someone cannot pick that up on their own. So what they're going to do is they're going to reach in, grab what they can. Potentially there could be trash left behind. So people needed to know that. So now this little flyer is to say, now we have the means to do this. It's not a requirement. One that is looking to continue with just putting their trash bag out or putting their regular, traditional trash barrel out can continue to do so. The main take home is if you choose to go the route of a toter, you do want to put it out. There's a specific way to put it out, which a lot of people aren't aware of it. And I was driving through town today on my way to work. And I think hopefully this flyer will help, because if you see like the ways to put it out and the ways not to put it out, like people normally put their wheels towards the street, and it's actually supposed to be the opposite way because the truck picks it up in that form. And then obviously you don't want to put the bins too close to one another. You want to be mindful of overhead wires so the trash truck doesn't take down the wires. So again, I know a lot of people see this and say it, oh, well, there's a change. This is a requirement. It is not a requirement. It's just saying, should you choose to go the route of a toter, you are allowed to do so. You still have to follow the trash rules and regulations. So you cannot exceed the very generous amount of 6 barrels or bags of 35 gallons. So 210 gallons at most is your trash. You can put out multiple bins. But if you choose to go this route, there's kind of a way that you need to do it so that it's efficient. And I think what Boston Carding is doing, they're trying to streamline the collection process. We have a 5-year contract that we are entering in with Boston Carding come July 1st. So I know there's some skepticism. A lot of people are thinking, well, eventually we're going to switch to this automated system with totes being a requirement. That's not the case. The contract that we're entering in July 1st is a contract that does not talk about automated or toters. Another question that a lot of people had, there's a little note that said that a limited supply of toters may be available at the Robbins Road compost site. So again, this is kind of Boston Carding trying to streamline the process. They are free of charge. We've gotten a lot of phone calls to say, well, how much is this costing us? Is this tax dollars? So that's not the case. They're free of charge. Residents are allowed to keep them. We do have a limited supply. So I would say there's about probably 40 in total. They're at the Robbins Road compost site because we felt that that was the best place to put them. So residents that are coming in to drop off their compost, potentially they have the larger vehicles that can, take a bin or a barrel home. There's variation in sizes. And again, there's no guarantee that we're going to continue to get these. And what they'll do is as we run out, if they have them, they'll drop them off. They're not brand new. They're in great condition. So it's something we'll keep rolling. But I know a lot of people got nervous when they received this. And I just want to be transparent in saying that there is no change to our solid waste collection. It's the same contractor. And this is merely just to say, if you want to go the toter route, which I feel a good majority like that because it simplifies collection, they don't have to bring, 6 bins or barrels out. 1 or 2 might do the trick, and just, being educational in the sense where they're telling you how to properly put it out.
So are we gonna have 2 separate barrels, like one for recycling and one for trash, or?
So this is completely optional if you choose to do the toter route. So you can continue as you normally do. So some people prefer to just put trash bags out. They don't want to deal with bins or barrels, and they just want to put a bag out. As long as it's contained, you can continue to do that. If you go the toter route, you are free to purchase them on your own. And ultimately, you're not limited to 1 or 2. You just cannot exceed the 210 gallons that's allotted for trash. Recycling's always been unlimited amount of recycling. And then again, the toters that are provided at the compost site, there's no guarantee that we have them. It's kind of just like an added bonus that they have. When they have them, they'll drop them off. If people are at the compost site and they see them, we would say you could take 1 recycling toter and 1 trash toter to use.
So when will they have them available at the compost
So this
site?
week is the start. So I would say the phone calls that we've been receiving, I think what will be at the compost site this week will be disappearing rather quickly. The main take home is it's only during the operating hours of the compost site. So it's year round 9 to noon on Wednesdays, and then Saturdays it's abbreviated. So every Saturday during the nicer months, it's 8 to 4, but then it drops down in the summer, and then the hours pick back up in the fall. So I reached out to the hauler today to say, you know, I think we have a lot of interest. Can we get more? And he said he would see what he can get. So again, it's not something that we're going to be able to supply to our 7,000 homes in Walpole. It's just one of those things. It's helping them out because it streamlines the collection process, and it gives people the option to do what they typically do and stick with the bins or barrels of their choice, or if they like to go the toter route, they can do that.
So if we don't get them from the town, is the flyer, because I'm sorry, I don't have the packet in front of me, too, where can we purchase them
So a
from?
lot of people buy them at like the hardware stores. You can get them at, there's no real requirement, but typically you see the blue ones as the recycling, and then you see like the brown, green, black,
Okay.
as the trash
So
toter.
they have them at the like Home Depot, like the Universal.
Correct, yes. So the flyer indicates like you don't want to exceed 96 gallons, obviously, in one bin or barrel, because
I
you
see.
can't lift it up, obviously.
Okay. That's excellent.
Does anyone else have any questions? It definitely stirred up a lot of questions. So we're trying to assist to kind of eliminate questions. So I figured by talking about it on this call, we've updated our Facebook page, our Town of Walpole website, as well as our voicemail, because we were getting a lot of phone calls just asking about, you know, I think people get panicked and they don't want it, they don't like change, and they don't want to change. So there's no change to the contract. It's just providing a few options.
So we're still able to use our old blue totes, right, for the recycling?
Correct, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
I can only imagine how many calls you must be getting. So hang in there. You're probably fielding them all.
It's good. We have a good team.
Well, thank you. That helps. Anything else?
No, the only other thing is, Maddie, thank you for jumping on the call. And if you have follow-up questions, like my door is always open. So if you want to sit down, have a phone call, or whatever we can do to help, definitely don't hesitate.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Was that any helpful, Maddie? The
Oh,
meeting?
that was so helpful. Like, that's like exactly what I'm interested in. And I like seeing how everyone kind of like shared their own opinions about it and questions.
Great. Best of luck for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Great.
When's our next meeting?
The 17th, I think?
Their next meeting's the 17th, correct?
Thank you.
Right, does that date work for everybody?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then in that case, if there's nothing else, we'll pull the board for closure. Carol,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
Mona,
Aye.
I also, the board has closed. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice
Good
week.
night.
Bye. Take care.